This episode, and every episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show, is brought to you by Ironmonger Brewing. Visit Ironmonger at their taproom in Marietta, Georgia, or online at ironmongerbrewing.com.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are broadcasting from the SGI Brewfest. We are on St. George Island in Florida. It's sunny. It's mid-70s here. There's a light breeze coming off the water. It's a gorgeous day and a gorgeous place for a brewfest. We're going to talk to a lot of cool people today. And Brian, my good friend and co-host, is going to tell you a little bit more about who we're going to chat with.
Hey, Tim, and I definitely am going to do that. So joining us today, we have Greg Tisch and Bobby Mack. They're here right now from Real Talk 93.3 FM. We'll have Mike Kauffman and James Davis from Proof Brewing a little bit later, and the folks from SGI Brewfest, and I think we may even have a few other people.
A few crazy guests.
Potentially somebody from deep. We'll see what happens.
And 93.3 FM, Brian, for those that do not know, is out of Tallahassee, Florida.
It is out of Tallahassee,
They are a
Florida.
Tallahassee affiliate station, and Greg and Bobby are the morning show hosts there, right?
Yes, we are.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming down. And welcome to St. George Island.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
We're
beautiful.
enjoying
You can
it.
hear my dog barking
There's dogs
in the
barking.
background.
Well,
Yes.
this is a charity event today. They're doing Humane Society, so there's some dogs out here running
It
around and
benefits
having
the
a good
Franklin
time.
County Humane Society. And guys, thank you so much. I know you're out here selling shirts today, and you're giving a...
We are 10% of all of our sales are going to the Humane Society.
That's good.
We're
We
gonna take
adopted
care of
our
them.
dog that you can hear barking in the background from here last year. She loves other dogs, so she's out playing right now. But guys, yeah, welcome. And actually, Bobby Mack, you've never been to St. George Island
Yeah,
either.
it's actually pretty funny. I've lived in Tallahassee about 5 years. I grew up in Southwest Florida, so I was, about 10-minute bike ride from the beach growing up. So I've never actually taken the, about an hour and a half drive from Tallahassee south to St. George Island. So it's, a really nice experience and a great and beautiful day for such a great
It
event.
is, absolutely. And, we're enjoying a great beer here right now. Just fantastic beer. And we're going to talk a little bit later to the guys from the Tallahassee Beer Society who host the Saturday morning bottle share on another station
it's on
in Tallahassee.
ESPN 97.9.
On ESPN 97.9. And this is the official beer of their show. So this is... It is by a brewery called Natural Light, or the beer is Natural Light, and this is Natter Days.
It's amazing.
This is Natter Days, and it is the beer that you want if you think, I want a beer, but I'd rather it more like a strawberry lemonade wine cooler. This is the beer for you.
If you're in your late 30s, early 40s, or around there, and remember wine coolers, this is the beer of the summer for 2019. It's absolutely amazing. This has taken me back to high school. Do y'all remember 2 liters of wine coolers?
I do remember 2 liters. There was I was in Arkansas in my late teens, early 20s, and we had some stuff there called Purple Passion that came in a 2-liter bottle.
That
and
doesn't sound good.
It masqueraded as a wine cooler, but it actually had Everclear in it.
Oh, God.
So,
God.
It was really popular there. The
Quality
young
drinking right there.
The young folks would go
I'm glad
get
you made
them.
it this long.
So, what's that?
I'm saying I'm glad you made it this long.
We survived. Yeah,
Just
look at all the
barely.
stuff we survived,
It's
man.
amazing.
We made it through this. It was popular. You go through Sonic, get you a glass of crushed ice, and get your 2-liter of Purple Passion. You're ready for the weekend.
Oh,
So
Lord.
it's a good time.
We used to, in high school, we would find somebody that had a connection that could buy alcohol. Sorry, Mom, I'm telling a story here that you're not going to like. And we would buy these 2 liters of wine coolers, and we would come down to St. George. I mean, literally, 500 feet from where we are, sit out on the beach all day, and 8 of us, because we were so broke, would share this 2-liter
That
all day. And
2-liter.
we thought we were rebels.
It was big stuff then, man.
It was.
Absolutely.
It was. Good times.
In addition to delicious wine coolery beers, we are
Yes.
enjoying some really great Tallahassee craft breweries. It's our first trip down to Tallahassee. We've talked to and enjoyed some of these breweries before, but there's a lot of new beer here for us. We spent last night in Tallahassee, had a good time out there. We went out to Proof Brewing. We stopped by Ology. We made it by Deep Brewing and had some of their beers and a lot of really good stuff. Brian, we talked about it a little bit. Could you pick a favorite of the ones we went to yesterday?
It'd be really difficult. I do have a lot of love for Ology. The double dry hop Sensory Overload was wonderful. The Sensory Overload, the regular one's good. They had a mead there. It wasn't one of theirs. Madeira Barrel Aged Rebug Vitus. Anyway, it's a PB&J mead, and it was probably the most amazing thing I've ever had in liquid form.
PB&J mead.
It smelled like the peanut butter or peanuts. It tasted like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was excellently done. I've had a similar concept from Superstition, and I think this is Garagiste. Anyway,
I'm not sure.
However you say their name, I'm sorry, guys. I just don't know. It's the best. Anything I've ever had that's trying to replicate a PB&J, it is the best. It's wonderful. I think it was a guest tap. So, but possibly my favorite beer was the Chamber Goat over at Deep Brewing, which is a blonde ale with coffee in it. And the coffee aroma and flavor was so marvelous. They actually have a version of that here at the festival. I think it's called Bronzer, that they blended with a tan in a can. They blended with that, so the Bronzer has got coconut plus coffee. Delightful.
Tan in a can. I'm not a big coconut guy, and I was actually here 2 years ago that Ryan Lapete from Deep, and he's like, "Here, Tish, try this." I was like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's our new coconut beer." And I was like, I don't like coconut. And he's like, "Try this. It's my favorite summer beer." And it's just absolutely
even not liking
amazing.
Coconut, still like that beer.
I dislike coconut a lot.
Okay.
But this is my favorite beer. Whenever we go anywhere in Tallahassee or St. George or anywhere in the area, I always say, "Do you have tan in a can?" My one true love is Oyster City Brewing, which is literally within 20 feet of us.
Fanboy right there.
They're Hooter Brown, made with Tupelo honey, and just fantastic. What's yours?
Well, it's been amazing to see. I've only lived up in Tallahassee for about 4 years now, and the craft brewing scene that has developed up there, especially with, I think, Proof spearheading that and their new brewery that they've opened, it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, 850, La La Land, their two probably signature beers, my two favorite beers that exist on the face of planet Earth, and it's pretty amazing to see that scene growing at the rate that they have been over the last couple of years.
That's a really interesting facility they have. And when I'm judging which is my favorite brewery, I have to give Proof a little bit of leeway because they were out of all their New England IPAs. They have several of them that they came around and told us, like, "Oh man, we wish we could hook you up with that, but we're completely out. We're brewing more. It's all kicked." So I had to go based upon some other beers. All of them good, but I am an IPA guy
and
at
Proof
heart.
just released their lager, which perfect summer beer. I think it's like 4%. And just lagers for me is just a good beach beer.
Did you have the lime lager that they have there? Because that's really nice.
I did not.
That's, if you're looking for the kind of the Corona vibe, I think it's a much better beer. It's that same kind of beach, kicking back vibe. I love that. I think that's
Corona
wonderful.
Without the glass, which is perfect for everybody coming to the beach. Because quit bringing your glass bottles
Stop bringing
to the beach.
bottles to the beach.
Do it.
Which is good that so many craft breweries are going cans now. You can pack them in. You can take a whole suitcase of Natterdays with you to the beach.
Of course.
You're good to go, man.
Always.
You're all set.
It is less dramatic to fight with a can than a glass bottle. At least with a glass bottle, you break the end of it and you can take turns stabbing each other. If you just go with a can, it's bruising. That's boring.
Well, there's so much more work to get the sharp edges on the can.
It really is. You really got to file it down and whatnot. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Less in the foot, but also less stabbing. So, I mean, there are drawbacks to that.
Pros and cons.
You're going to have a gang war on the beach. Bring your Coronas, but if you just want to chill, bring your cans.
Brian killed a guy with a trident.
Yeah, that's right.
You may want to lay low for
That
that.
may want
You
to
could be
lay
wanted
low.
for murder.
Greg, what beer are you most looking forward to trying here today at the festival?
Well, actually, I haven't gone over to see Deep and Ryan
So
Lapete
you'll
that's
find
over there.
out,
Yeah,
right?
I want to try this
Okay.
bronzer. He told me about it. As we mentioned earlier, our good friends at the Tallahassee Beer Society, they had a bottle share probably, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
And what my fiancée, Katie, and I like to do is we like to bring in non-craft beer to this, but we also give a $100 donation every time we do.
Okay.
And one of the co-founders, Matt Crumbaker, we brought in a Natterday, a 16-ounce Natterday, gave it to him, and he had to shotgun it. But we
There
only
you
gave
go.
$100.
All for a good cause, right?
But then Ryan that night, he's like, Tish, we have this new bronzer coming out. It's with Lucky Goat Coffee, and which Katie loves Lucky Goat Coffee, which is a local Tallahassee brand, which just I think, don't they give a portion of their proceeds, they give to different charities around
Definitely.
the world and stuff?
Yeah, no, they're great.
Blown Up, but he's like, and we're mixing it with your favorite tan in a can. So that's the one I'm looking forward to trying today.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. We do need to take a break. You're listening to the Beer Guys radio show from SGI Brewfest, and we'll be back right after this.
As a brewery owner or taproom manager, are you looking for ways to enhance your customer experience while maximizing your revenues? Craft Cellar is a mobile solution that helps your brewery drive sales and attract new customers through online pre-sales for beer releases, events, and memberships. Get details now at craftcellar.com. Mention Beer Guys Radio after sign-up and extend your free trial to a full 30 days. Remember, craftcellar.com, craftcellr.com.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger Brewing pride themselves at being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy, and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room in Marietta, Georgia to taste and see. Also visit their barrel room for an intimate drinking experience with great live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys radio show. If you miss an episode, don't worry. All episodes are available as a podcast. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and never miss a show. Now we're going to talk to Mike Kauffman and James Davis from Proof Brewing Company.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
It's our absolute pleasure.
Are you enjoying the festival so far?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's been great. It's been great. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely great turnout.
That's what we were saying. The day, the weather, everything. It's the perfect place and time for a brew fest.
Couldn't have been any better.
Yeah. So we got by your brewery yesterday when we came into Tallahassee. We saw it. We know you just moved to a new location. Can you tell us how long have you been in the new location? When did you open up there?
So we had our grand opening at the new location at 1320 South Monroe on February 8th was our grand opening. Yeah. Does that sound right? Yeah. So we've been open there since February 8th, beginning of February, basically. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And was it a big expansion for you?
It was massive. Yeah, absolutely.
I believe, the production side at least is about, 3 times the
production size is 3 times the size, and as far as the actual building size, we went from a 10,000 square foot building to a 34,000 square foot building. So just the area of the building itself is massive.
Yeah. So that's a big jump. I mean, how's that working out for you? Are you getting the traffic you need to make that huge jump like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been amazing. So it's great to see all the locals come out, all the support that we've had for the brewery. We always do a great job of trying to give back to the community, and for the community to give back to us has been amazing. Absolutely, yeah.
I know when we were there, the cars were circling the lot at a certain point trying to find parking there just because it was so packed, and the place was hopping. So I'm thinking whatever they're doing here, they're doing it right.
They're doing it right.
So so parking has been an issue for some people. We always kind of try to promote ride sharing, Uber, Lyft, ride sharing taxis. We've got tons of parking available. If you go on our social media or on any of our websites or Facebook or anything like that, we've got parking maps everywhere. So we've got about 65 spots on premise. People can park at Cascades Park and walk over. All around there's street parking. So I think people have to kind of get used to the urban setting and walking a little bit. Mm-hmm.
I want to park right at the front door. I want to get to my beer as soon as possible.
Get there early.
Pull in get there. Sure. I made it just in the right time. I got a spot, and that was it. And I walked out to get something out of the car a little later. And between the walk there and back, 3 people asked me, "Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Are you leaving?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry."
The desire is there. The desire is there. Absolutely.
But Proof is the oldest brewery in Tallahassee, right? You kind of kicked off the craft beer scene in Tallahassee?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we are one of the first production breweries in Tallahassee. When we started, there wasn't really a lot of it going on. We actually started as a liquor store. And then we kind of went up to a craft beer bar, and then we started brewing, and now where we are now is actually amazing. So we noticed that there was always kind of a desire for craft beer in Tallahassee, and when we started, it was kind of a really heavy bud heavy place. We decided why not start brewing our own.
So you started as a liquor store and made it from liquor store to production brewery. All right, that's
And
a good journey.
You're kind of general manager. Were you just working the register back in the liquor store days? How'd that work? Did you come up with it?
We did. So we do a lot of our promoting within. So we want to make sure that everybody knows our system. Everybody kind of works their way through. So I actually started there about 10 years ago as a retail door guy. Kind of went up to bar backing from there, then bartending, then assistant managing. I actually was one of the original brewers, if you didn't know that. So I haven't worked in the brewery in a while, but that's what James here is for. So, but yeah, everyone kind of works their way up. So it's actually been a really good system. You know, everybody kind of works their butts off.
James, you're really the most important person at the brewery, right? Because you make the beer, right?
I mean, I'm one of them, yeah.
Yeah, good deal. Now, how long have you been with Proof?
Oh, man, I started when I was... I started part-time. I just kind of started in the cellar, just did a little bit of everything. And then just recently when we moved over to the new location, they had me start, focusing on brewing a lot.
Now, we enjoyed all the beers there. We had, as soon as we came into town, we stopped by 93.3 Radio Studios there, our station, and they broke out some cans of 850 that we got into. And then we went over to the brewery and enjoyed all the others there, the La La Land. I'm enjoying fruited sours and that right now. James, what beers do you like to brew? If you got to brew, if you were totally in control of brewing, what's going to be coming out of the system there?
Ooh, well, just recently I brewed a one of our sours, that's really fun to brew. Really, all of them are just fun to make. I really like 850. I really like that finished product. La La Land's another good one. Really, all of our core beers is what I like to brew. Sometimes some of the specialty ones, but yeah, I don't really think you can go wrong with any of them.
Now, I'll say that's interesting. A lot of times you talk to the brewers, and it's not necessarily the cores that they enjoy brewing. It's they like to get the little creative there, you know.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, yeah, the creative system, the creative beers are really on the that's kind of our pilot system. Okay. I'm focused more on the big ones.
So we got keep the good stuff coming out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's fun if they want to throw me on one of the new experimental beers, I'm all for it, but I really like some of the tried and true,
James
core
has been
beers.
really busy, so, we had the 850 and Mango Wit in cans for a little while now. We just started putting Lala in cans a couple months ago and Lager about a week ago.
Yeah.
So they've been really busy on the main brew stand, just making sure we can get Lala and Lager out into the market.
It's pretty much every day has been just a brew day, and it's just... It's been a lot of hours, but it's been a lot of fun. So
you mentioned the other day when we were there that you were working on some New England IPAs. Do you have like a solid core thing, or are you still experimenting with the style?
We're still working on it. It's not a core quite yet, but I mean,
they're amazing. So we've got our Tropical Uprising, which is our New England IPA, which is phenomenal. It's super juicy, super hazy. Really a really great, well-balanced beer. Our half-sister is going to be our New England Style Pale Ale. Once again, amazing. We'll do limited can releases in the breweries sometimes. We don't distribute those out yet. They're not quote-unquote cores yet, but they are definitely going to be a staple, I think, going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing I had there was the hop gin and tonic. Did you do the hopping of the gin for that? Is that something you did in-house?
We do that all in-house, yeah. So actually, the hop gin and tonic is... we'll take Saz hops and Saz and Mosaic.
Saz and Mosaic.
Saz and Mosaic. Yeah, so we do that all
combo.
in house, and we'll actually we'll get the gin. We'll put the hops in there. We've got the secret recipe. I can't tell you guys right now. We'll put it in a sous vide, and we'll actually make all the gin in house.
Did you say sous vide?
Sous vide.
Okay.
Sous vide.
All right, that makes sense. Put the lower temperature, kind of steep it in there, right?
Exactly. So we'll steep for about 25 to 30 minutes in the gin, and it makes a great hop gin and tonic. A lot of our cocktails that we make, we try to focus on the beers themselves. So the hop gin and tonic is one of them. The other one is the Mango Wit Margarita, which we make our own Mango Wit agave nectar in-house that we reduce from our Mango Wit beer. So any of the beer cocktails or cocktails we do, we try to still stay focused on the brewery and on the beers themselves.
Now, see, I like that you guys can do that kind of thing at the brewery, because one thing we talk about when we're talking with the brewers from all over the country is the different beer laws from state to state. In our wonderful state of Georgia, a production brewery cannot serve anything but their own beer. so they can't have guest taps of other brewers. They can't do cocktails or anything. So coming down and going to a brewery and seeing when I first saw the hop gin and tonic, I thought, I wonder if this is a beer that they've made to taste kind of like a gin and tonic. No gin. We can't handle gin and beer under the same roof.
It was a gin that we made to taste like our beer.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's good stuff.
So we do have our liquor license, and I know Florida laws are probably a little bit different than Georgia, but we do have a full liquor license, so we can do any kind of liquor, spirits, wine, anything we want like that.
Well, you started out as a liquor store. That's just carried over, right? I mean,
so liquor store is a different license, but when we went from liquor store to being a craft bar, we did have a full liquor license. So it is a little bit different than some of the other breweries in town, but we do have a full liquor license, full package license, and a brewery license as well. Yeah. Production license, yeah.
So what are some of the new beers that people should look for from Proof soon?
So we've got a slew of amazing sours that are going to be coming out in the next few weeks. I would definitely look out for any of the sours we make. I mean, our pomegranate passion fruit is amazing. Our key lime pie evil kiss was great. Our lime sour is fantastic. Kiwi strawberry.
You just gave me a pour of that lime sour recently,
lime
right?
raspberry, or
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the lime raspberry. That was amazing. But we have been really focusing on these sours recently, and all of them have come out great. So I would look out for the sours that we've got coming up in the next few months.
And if people want to know what's happening at Proof Brewing, what's the best way to follow along with you?
Check out our social media, check out our website, check out our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Guys, we're very good about posting on there and keeping everything relevant and current.
Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, the pleasure is ours.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with more from SGI Brewfest. Is your brewery or restaurant flooring looking a little worse for wear? Your foundation needs to be protected from heat, chemicals, and other contaminants. At the same time, you need something slip-resistant yet cleanable with soap and water. ResTech has been manufacturing poured-in-place flooring since 2002 and offers a variety of solutions for your facility's needs. If your floor needs a little TLC, visit our website at restech.net. That's res-tek.net to contact us and request a free site evaluation. It's Brian and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Brian. They've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, that's where it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks, so you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and Duluth.
Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, and this might surprise you, Tim. It's Real Talk 93.3 FM in Tallahassee, Florida. Catch Beer Guys Radio on Real Talk 93.3 FM every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now let's talk to Amy Hodson and Cutler Edwards with the SGI Brewfest.
Hi, guys.
Well, thank you so much for having us down here to your festival. Thanks for joining us on the show. We really appreciate it. So we're going to talk about the festival. We're going to start a little before that. We're going to talk a little bit about St. George Island, SGI. When we were coming down here, everybody was very excited, very much wanted to come down here. And the hotel we're staying at here is the Buccaneer Inn, or as everybody's been lovingly calling it, the Buck Inn. And everybody seems really excited. Like, after this fest is over, that's going to be the place to be. So can you tell us a little bit about St. George Island and what the island's about?
20-some mile island. State Park is the last 9 miles. Beautiful beaches, no high-rise condominiums, so we only build up to 3 stories. Pet-friendly beaches, family-friendly beaches. It's just a really beautiful place. No chain restaurants, nothing like that around.
It's a ribbon barrier island, 4 miles offshore, runs parallel to the mainland. You watch the sunrise over one side, turn around in your chair and watch the sunset over the other side. It's like the last place on the Gulf Coast of Florida that's like it was 50 years ago.
I saw that it was called quote unspoiled, which I think I get that because I've gone to some of the coastal areas on the West Coast way back in the day before they got really commercial and slick, and I'm like, I get kind of a similar vibe. It's like a little bit more the little mom and pop shops, a little interesting, quirky things.
Absolutely.
They weren't all selling the same trinkets back then.
Right.
Later on, everybody had the same T-shirt. They were all selling it in different shops that looked all the same.
Yeah, I mean, this is a place that you have to try to come to get lost. It's more than an hour and a half to a Walmart, and if that doesn't tell you how far away from things you are in the South, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, that was one thing I noticed. In Atlanta, we have a funny saying. Inside of Atlanta, inside of 285 is called ITP, inside the perimeter. Outside of that is OTP. And there are people who live inside the perimeter that think you got to load up the mule train to go outside of that. So they're not willing to travel 20 miles to a festival. But we noticed here, we've seen tons of people from Tallahassee.
Yep.
We met some people that we met in Chattanooga, Tennessee, McDonough, Georgia. So what is it about this fest and this place that people don't mind? Come on down and have a good time.
Well, I mean, not to toot our own traveling horn, but we have people here today from 17 states and a couple that flew from Gloucester, England for Brewfest.
Okay.
So it's more than a 20-mile drive, and people are willing
For
to
a
make
couple
it. But
people,
I think
right? Yeah.
I really do think it's because it's the last place like this, and what we're seeing is, well over 70% repeat guests at the Brewfest, so it's starting to feel like a family reunion with a few new cousins every year. And I think that's the ratio of guest to brewers, the intimacy of the event makes it, people don't come for the day. It's not a day trip spot. You come on Thursday, you stay till Sunday or Monday.
Now, this is the 4th annual Beer Fest, is that right? How'd the festival get started?
Well, we a group of us were all involved in fundraising for the local Humane Society, and we had done a 5K that had just worn us out for 20 years. We finished it after 20 years, and we were looking for something new. And Oyster City had come about the year before, and we said, hey, how about let's do a Brewfest? Wouldn't that be a great idea? And we sort of searched out a place to have it and kind of just started researching, how do you even do that? Who knows how to do that? So we started our first year, and we've tried to keep it small and have really smart growth over the last 4 years. This is our biggest year yet, obviously, but it was something that we thought would be a great idea, and it was really happening in the beer scene at that point in time, and people were having festivals, and we didn't have one in our area yet, so we really wanted to.
Yeah, and I think, Oyster City really was that kind of nucleus that made it happen, but I want to make sure that we give a real strong shout out to the distributors who have really kind of been the backbone. Tri-Eagle, Cone, this year Progressives joined us. Knowing that we have a large, diverse roster of breweries we can depend on coming through the distributors really kind of frees us up to spend time recruiting the independent guys from further afield. We could talk about, whether we can get Georgia and Alabama brewers, later. But really having some buy-in from the beginning with people who, I think to our benefit, already knew the area and loved it and thought, man, it would be great to participate in an event down there. We'd love an excuse to come hang out on St. George Island for a day.
And of course, all our Tallahassee.
Okay, sure. Twist our arm. We'll come hang at the island.
There's no asphalt. You got the beach breeze. It's palm trees. It's not a hard sell.
I do like the fact that you said, hey, we've been running for 20 years. Maybe we should just sit down and drink some beer instead.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I celebrate your decision.
Some people like running. Everybody likes sitting down.
It would have been a harder sell to get me down here to go run 5K than it is to come down and drink some beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jogging didn't have the cultural cachet anymore that it previously held. So
You guys want to come down to Florida for a 5K?
In
no,
August.
you know what? Thanks,
it was
though.
in August.
In August,
It's like, oh man, I'd love to, but I want to drink some beer.
Right. Let's do a beer fest in early spring. That sounds like the way to go there, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned this benefits the Humane Society. They've got a lot of pups out here to adopt, and a lot of people that have said they've adopted here previous years and that. So.
Yes. Every year we adopt a few dogs out during the festival, and then we always adopt a few more out in days after the festival. People come back because they decided, after the fact they needed to get a puppy. But we have... every year we've adopted animals out, and we've raised in the last 3 years over $75,000 for the Humane Society.
That's awesome.
Last year we raised $33,000. So we're hoping for a $40,000 year this year. That's what our hopes are for this year.
Yeah, because the adoptions are nice, but they're sort of ancillary. I mean, we're providing the bulk of the Humane Society's operating budget annually by fundraising.
That's awesome.
Here. I mean,
that's fantastic.
All the beer is donated. All the labor is donated. Every nickel that a guest pays is going to the Humane Society. So
that's fantastic.
It's we're a small county with a lot of extra pets, so it's a really important project.
So what are some future plans? I'm assuming it's changed. The festival's changed a lot in the 4 years you've been doing it. Do you have some ideas of how you're going to make it bigger and better, or are you not going to try to go bigger and better?
Well, we've tried to do smart growth every year.
Yeah.
We want it to remain an intimate festival. We don't want this to be one of those festivals where somebody stands in line for 30 minutes to get a sip of beer.
Sure.
We want them to actually be able to talk with the brewers, and we just never really wanted to grow it too big, and we feel like today was probably maybe not the maximum,
but it's getting closer. We're getting closer to the limit, but we like that sort of 20-to-1. Seems like a good ratio of breweries to guests.
We talked to the guys from Tallahassee Beer Society on their show a couple weeks ago, and they asked us what makes a good beer fest. For us, you want it crowded. I use the term crowded loosely, but you want enough people there where it's lively, but not so much that it's crowded. Have a good crowd, have a good environment there. If I have to wait for one or two people to get a beer, that's fine. I don't want to wait for 100 people to get to a beer. So.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's
or get up there only to find that they've run out because they didn't anticipate the crowd. And I think that one of the other components of that intimacy is, and when you sort of compound it with our relative remoteness, you have to really want to come here. And so, sort of by accident, we wound up with I think a fairly sophisticated, knowledgeable base. Like, people want to quiz the breweries about the yeast they're using. And so we have the breweries tell us we really have a level of conversation here that we don't necessarily get at all the other brewfests. Which is, I think, a credit to the folks who've decided to come.
If you don't mind me asking, about how big was the turnout today?
We sold 700 tickets, and we also had about 150, 160 sponsor tickets as well from our we couldn't do this without them, so our sponsors get tickets as well. And with all of our brewery reps and volunteers, we probably have about 1,000 people here today.
Awesome, y'all. Well, thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for having us on.
Look forward to 2020.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time.
April 25th, 2020.
The date's already set.
It is.
Mark it down.
Always the last Saturday in April, and we will sell
out in advance.
Yeah.
Good deal. Better make a note. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon to talk more about SGI Brewfest.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery, set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Is your brewery or restaurant flooring looking a little worse for wear? Your foundation needs to be protected from heat, chemicals, and other contaminants. At the same time, you need something slip-resistant yet cleanable with soap and water. ResTech has been manufacturing poured-in-place flooring since 2002 and offers a variety of solutions for your facility's needs. If your floor needs a little TLC, visit our website at restech.net. That's res-tek.net to contact us and request a free site evaluation.
The Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cannonball coming.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get some cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now we're going to have a chat with Dana Aller and Matt Crumbaker from Tallahassee Beer Society.
Guys, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks
for
coming
down
here.
This festival. You've been busy. You had a prize wheel over there, and people just kept coming in and spinning. A lot of cool swag from the area breweries, right?
Area breweries this year. Last year it was really mostly area breweries and craft beer bars. This year we kind of extended it. We did some sponsors from our show as well, the Saturday Morning Bottle Share on ESPN 97.9 FM. I mean, we doubled it from, now we should really tripled it, really, I would say. We had about 8 or 9 last year. We had probably 25 or 26 this year. Tons of stuff to give away. Great to see everybody down here. Just love like the support. We've been next to you guys all day, so we've been seeing you do your thing. We've been doing our thing. It's been great.
So was it a good show for you then? Or a good event, a festival, I guess?
Absolutely. I mean, everywhere we go, we try to bring a taste of Tallahassee to everywhere we go, even if it's at, 5-10 hours away. We try to make sure everybody kind of gets a feel of what we do back home, what we do in 850, which is our area.
How you can do it in the 850.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so a festival like this, which is just an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours away, this is perfect for us. This is our sweet spot. This is where we want to make sure that people who are only 2 hours away really, really want to come to Tallahassee, taste the restaurants, experience the craft beer, and really see what we're putting out. We're definitely extending down to the Tampa, Orlando, Miami area, but these little pockets here where we can get kind of rural communities that aren't necessarily our typical craft beer pocket, really interested in craft beer and what we're doing here. That's exactly what we want to hit. We're trying to elevate the scene as a whole.
Good stuff. We've been enjoying all the beers here. Like I said, Ology and Proof and Deep, we made it out to those breweries. We've tried a lot of others here. We're going to talk Tallahassee beer here, but we figured we'd share a little Georgia beer with you guys in this segment. So we've popped open an overnight celebrity from Monday Night Brewing. That is a maple bourbon barrel-aged imperial porter. I think we're all enjoying that one.
Delicious.
Delicious. Really, and I'll tell you what I really like about it, and Danny will disagree with me over here, is it's a little warm here. We're down here. It's probably, 85, maybe?
Feels like it.
It's stout weather.
It's a little warm.
It's stout weather. It's big beer weather. Yeah.
It's big beer weather. Well, for someone who likes to have their big beer open up a little bit so you can really taste all those flavors, it's been sent out, a little bit, so it's a little bit warm. You can really take in that maple. You can take in all the great big beer flavors.
Meanwhile, I like my beer at 32.5 degrees. All of it.
He likes it ice cold.
If this is too much for you, Danny, we've got a few Natter Days left.
I mean, if you've got Natter Days here, I will definitely smash one on the ground here for the show if you guys would like me to.
Stuff.
I would do that.
That's the official beer of the Tallahassee.
We saw y'all drinking it, by the way. I saw Tim over there.
It's the
chugging
finest
one. Got a really, really good
lemonade, that I've ever had there.
I will absolutely drink that. However, there's a local radio host that set the price, so it's $100 for charity. Anybody who wants to see me shotgun one of those Kool-Aid concoctions can certainly pass
being generous, man.
to a charity of their choice, and I'll do it.
You're disrespecting Kool-Aid by saying that.
Do you get to specify what you're wearing when you do it?
Why not? If it's for charity, I'll do it.
All right.
I'm down.
Have you ever heard of a Gene Keeney?
I mean, it can't be worse than a Speedo. And
okay,
I mean, it's a little hot for denim, but
How
I'll do
much
it.
can we raise for charity is what I'm wondering.
Man.
How can we kick this
Really,
up,
that's on you.
Okay, that's on us. All right, fair enough.
I said I'll do it 100 a pop, so it's on you. However
We'll go
much
from
you want
there,
to
man.
raise.
So let's turn the tables for a second. How was the beer festival, guys? Did you enjoy it?
The beer festival's good. It's awesome.
First trip
Like
down
we
here,
said,
right?
It is.
Yep.
Yes. That's like we said, the weather here is gorgeous. We've said that a few times.
Couldn't have bought better weather.
Not a cloud in the
Amazing.
sky,
Yep.
slight breeze, great temperatures. We're looking forward to the after party everybody's been talking about. So we enjoyed it. Very nice people. We've met, oddly enough, several people that we've met in other cities, Chattanooga and Omaha Brewing.
Excellent.
So
yeah, Columbus.
We've had that.
Yeah.
We made some new friends here and drank some new beers. So it's been a good time.
What was your favorite beer today that you got to try? Anything stand out?
Wow, favorite beer. That is kind of a tough one. You put me on the spot here. I'm gonna say that. Man, it's hard to say. I want to say that Cycle Coffee one, but I don't know if that's
the coffee, the cream and coffee and sugar.
I think honorarily maybe, but there was a. I'm gonna go with that. Because I can't remember the names of the other ones.
How about you?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know the names of most of the beers I tried.
Okay.
I got a pour and I enjoyed them. I did try one from is it East End?
East Point.
East Point. I think it was called the Dark Overlord.
Nice.
Maybe?
So that beer
stout.
won
That
top
was
beer
good.
at our Tallahassee Beer Festival in January. It was the first beer festival they had ever done. They were our newest brewery to the area, and they came in with a bang. They came in with a 10% dark imperial stout. It's brewed with a local Apalachicola coffee company right down here in Apalachicola, and people were just so excited to see them there for the first time. I think there was part of that, but the beer is excellent in addition to that. It's really, really, really good.
It's good. So I got a question for you. We've got the Tallahassee Beer Society, and then your show, the Saturday Morning Bottle Share. What is the difference and the similarities between the two entities there?
It's kind of a package deal.
Is it the same goal of both? Is just promote your Tallahassee?
I mean, we just want to cover all platforms. We want to be on radio. We want to be in print. We have a great social media following. Definitely follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But the idea with the Democrat column is that, they're our local newspaper in Tallahassee. Up in Atlanta, you've probably got several different options to try to get the word out on print and online. But here, it's really kind of a one-shot deal. And when we started the Beer Society, very shortly after, they approached us and was like, guys, we have a craft beer writer. They don't do, probably as much as should be done on the scene. Would you guys like to do a column every couple of weeks on this? And we were like, absolutely. We're already killing it on social media. We've got a really good following. The radio show came shortly after that. But I honestly think that the Democrat column that we write really helped propel the radio show. I think it helped us kind of stand out to the radio people in town. And we had a couple comers come at us before we did the radio show with ESPN. And we decided to go with ESPN. We're both sports guys. Me and Matt both are. So for us to be attached to the ESPN was like, this is a great situation here. So
did you have a background in media prior to that?
I was a sports writer. He's actually
I've worked in publishing my whole life, so my degree is in economics, but I've worked in publishing my whole life. However, it was legal publishing, so I'm used to working with a tight timeline and all that. I think more than anything, what we were looking for is craft beer in our area. You're trying to get the word out to as many people as possible, and so while you're putting something in print, you may hit one demographic but not another. And so then following it up with radio, you may be hitting a different demographic, maybe a little younger, and then the social media, obviously.
Almost
each of your
everybody's on
social media platform,
Yeah,
but each platform even carries even a different demographic. So for us, we're trying to reach as many people as we possibly can of different ages, different income ranges, different race, ethnicity, whatever it happens to be. We want any platform that we can get on to try and get as many people in tune with what Tallahassee's doing in our greater area, East Point, and Apalachicola. That's really what we were trying to do. So as many doors as we could open, that's where we were at.
Okay, so someone comes to Tallahassee. Let's say I come in on Friday evening. I got to head outside Saturday morning. I've got one evening to experience Tallahassee. What do I do?
Wow,
What's the agenda?
Wow, he's really putting us on the
Come
spot
on,
there.
give it to us,
We
guys.
love all the breweries. I try to hit them all and whatnot.
I will say the advantage to something like Tallahassee as opposed to maybe Atlanta is that in Tallahassee, you're only 15 minutes from the next brewery. So you can hit the Northeast quadrant, the Southeast. You can hit them all in one night.
And that's the really good thing about Tallahassee. They're all over the place. I mean, we've basically got every side of town covered. We got 5 breweries in town, 6 if you want to count Fool's Fire over at Fermentation Lounge. We've got some day trips around here as well. But he's right. You can basically hit everybody in one stop if you want to. Maybe not in one night. That might be a little aggressive on the plan.
A little pushing it. Get flights.
Yeah, that's right.
Go small.
Absolutely, man. Get flights. Try them out. I mean, we've got some.
But what you'll get the way Tallahassee's laid out is you're going to get a significantly different vibe. All of them have, because of where they're located or because of maybe what their central kind of theme is, or maybe the beers that they brew. So maybe if you go to Ology, you're going to get some really world-class sours. Certainly in the Southeast,
they've got their juice
sours.
lab, isn't it?
Yeah,
That
juice lab.
Ology
But you
does.
have
Every single
barrel-aged
Sunday,
wild sours, which is something that's very new to Tallahassee. And, it doesn't have a whole lot of in each individual region, maybe even in Atlanta, not everybody's doing a barrel-aged wild sour. And they may be doing a quick, clean sour, but they're not doing that. Over at Deep, you're going to get a really high-end stout or porter dark beers. That's where they're really crushing it. Proof, consistency across the board. When you have a brewery that's been around as long as they have, you're getting consistency all the way around. Lake Tribe, a nice mix of everything, but what you're really getting out there is the vibe of Tallahassee. You're out in the woods, fire pits, shindig, that type of style. And then Grasslands, been around forever. They mix all over the place, but they're right on FSU's
right there in
campus.
College
So you're
Town,
getting
yeah.
a college campus feel there.
Good stuff. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for
Appreciate it.
raising up your local beer, man. Everybody, every town needs a cheerleader.
Yeah,
so it's good to have there. So
and thank you all for coming down, man. We really appreciate the love that you guys gave to this festival and the lead up to it. The fact that you were here this year. We didn't have anybody next to us last year, and to see you guys right next to us this year, it really meant a lot. I mean, it really says a lot about this beer scene. Says a lot about this area as well. And just glad to have you guys here.
Thank you much. We appreciate it, guys. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Coming up next week, we're talking with Palmetto Brewing. For more craft beer info, follow us online. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers.
The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com.